Welcome to the Awakened Human Podcast, the place to be for highly progressive, yet extremely grounded intuitive guidance, energetic support, metaphysical tools, and higher consciousness for highly successful, ambitious, soul-centered visionaries and leaders like you who want to make a global impact and achieve your highest fulfillment by aligning with your soul's true divine agenda and your role in God's plan of lighted creation, and by utilizing your divine gifts, talents, and abilities from the higher realms. We do this by working with the non-physical realms of higher guidance, energy, intuition, and powerful metaphysical tools for healing and transformation. We understand that the real change and transformation that's being called for on planet Earth and in our own lives and our own businesses doesn't come from outside of us, but rather from within. And that the change that we desire to experience in our lives and in our world requires us to change from the inside. I'm your host, Lori Ann Spagna. I'm a best-selling author, spiritual catalyst, intuitive, energy worker, ascension guide, multidimensional channel, animal communicator, visionary, lightworker, and luminary. I have dedicated my entire professional life to helping thousands and thousands of humans and animals all over the world in service and contribution to the light, which is the expansion, the upliftment, the evolution of humanity, to awaken, to uplift, and to align with our true divine source, which exists within each and every one of us. It is my passion, joy, and purpose to share this information, energy, and consciousness with you. Thank you so much for being here today and for sharing time with me. Let's get started. Welcome back, and thank you for being here, all of you light leaders, visionaries, heart-centered, ambitious entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. I'm so grateful that you're here and with me, taking this time together. Today, we're going to share about something that might seem a little not so psychic, intuitive, and all of that, but I do want to share. I've been meaning to share a lot about the crystals too, but today I'm going to talk about something a little more grounded, and that's what's going on in this current market in the world stage at this point in time, and how it's a reflection of consciousness expanding, and the sort of like new, I call it the new menu, or I don't really call it that. My team, when I'm channeling, calls it that. It's the new menu, the new smorgasbord on Earth, and the way it's been shared with me related to the current climate on Earth. So I'm going to share a little bit about that today. And I want it to be helpful to people who are, entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, because especially people who are embracing, surfing the waves of change and the evolutionary journey that we're on. So first of all, let me say this. When I started my business over 20 years ago, I had a 6-figure credit card debt at that time, and I did not have, people were not at all into this woo-woo stuff, but in my world, that's what I knew. I really got it that that's what I was here for, to start bridging that gap in consciousness between the so-called non-physical world with the physical world, so that people in the physical world could start really gaining the wisdom, the knowledge, the tools, the benefits of learning how to utilize everything that's available in the non-physical. And I was really, really interested in that time in extracting information and energy from the unknown realms. I was bringing in information that was not something you could read in a book. I still am. It's not available in a bookstore. In fact, one of my students inside of the Sacred Mentorship program, she learned about a new concept that we teach about, and that, something we work with inside of the mentorship regarding these ascended masters known as Logi, and the various stations that they have and how we can work with them. And she said that she had looked it up on Google searching for more information. And it was so fun to laugh about that. I'm like, you're not going to find that on Google. Like, that stuff's not out there. This is what I mean when I say I'm bringing in new information. But the point is, back when I started my business, people weren't as into this back then. And I don't even know if they are now, but I do understand that the climate is changing. And this is what I want to say. In our old paradigm, we were existing in this reality that was based in this, survive, right? You got to put food on the table, you got to pay your bills, and you got to work to survive for money. And this new paradigm, the new smorgasbord that we're being offered, and it's just starting in this age of Aquarius, right? Like Pluto just moved into Aquarius in the last few months. And it's been doing that through the end of the past year and into this beginning of this new year, because Pluto's a very slow moving planet and it had a significant retrograde period. But it's really about transformation of society. That's what Pluto in the age of Aquarius is. And so this new smorgasbord that we're shifting into is no longer going to be about working for money and survival. Society is shifting to start recognizing that we have wounds and traumas to heal and resolve, and that there's something better available for us. And that something better has to do with Pluto transformation. And that through the transformation, Pluto, the great spiritual enlightener, we can become more, through our own process of awakening, ascension, enlightenment, integration of that light into the physical world, we can start having a better experience. And it's not just about working for money. Now, how does the collective start learning that unless it becomes too hard to make money, right? So the masses are starting to realize, like, it's getting harder to make money because the game has been so controlled by those who are the old paradigm global elites who basically control the money system. This is not a conspiracy conversation. It's just, that's the way it is, right? The bankers, the global elites are a very small sort of secret society of men who basically plan and control the world economy. And they do it through all the different various ways they do it. So the masses are realizing, like, wow, this game is not written for me. It's becoming so challenging. I have to play a new game. And this can't just be about making money. This is how the masses are going to be reclaiming our power. But when you understand that perspective, that that's part of the change, and you decide, okay, so if it's not about that, what is it about? Well, it's about pursuing your joy and aligning with your source, knowing that you'll be cared for, knowing that you'll be taken care of, knowing that your needs will be provided to you. Now, that's the sort of sounds like airy-fairy aspect of it, but let's just look at it from a very basic foundational way of looking at it. Let's just talk about like the year 2020, money was being handed out to people, right? Because they were not able to work globally. And then everything was shut down except for the biggest chains that would take that money and it would go right back to the biggest corporations that own all the biggest chains. It's a great way to control the money supply. Shut everything down, hand out money to the masses, know that they're going to only be able to spend it in a very few places that are the biggest mega chains that will stay open, and that money will cycle back up, including big tech was part of that. Because of course, technology really came online, and technology is part of the age of Aquarius. But so knowing that that would be the case, now the next phase is humans starting to realize, like, oh, it was so easy to make money then. It was so easy because people were being handed out money. And if you were using big tech as an entrepreneur or solopreneur, if you very quickly learned how to do your business online, especially if you were able to shift out of brick and mortar and have an online store of some kind or online services, you were able to benefit from all that money that was being handed out. And because all the stores were closed and everything that wasn't a mega corp, including big tech, people at the lower rungs who were being handed out money and didn't have anywhere to go and nothing to do were spending it. And so it was very easy to make money in those years. And it was a great time to start a business because you could make a lot of money pretty quickly. And because humanity was very new to technology as a collective, anyone who could learn Zoom could buy your services, or you could sell to anyone through the magic of technology as an online business. Okay, but now flash forward, we're 4 years, 3-4 years later, and that money is not being handed out. And all of that money filtered up basically to big tech, big pharma, like the big corporations that were still open, right? For example, Walmart, great example. Like that is overall, the mega corps are run by the richest global elites. So all that money filtered up. There were gazillions of billionaires or maybe millionaires. I don't know the statistic. Please, someone look it up, of big pharma that got turned into millionaires and billionaires, more millionaires made. I think that's the statistic in that year when all that money was being handed out, right? And everything was closed. But it's because it all filtered up and now that money's not being handed out. And because of inflation, because of that, because if you pump the system with money, that's going to create inflation, right? Now, this year, which the calendar year is 2024, it's a whole new market. Because now, not only did you get all of these entrepreneurs and everybody, solopreneurs out there, and every Tom, Dick, and Harry offering services, regardless of whether they were really skilled or not. And people started getting more savvy with tech, so they've gotten out their fill of all kinds of information overload. I mean, everything's free on YouTube, and you can buy a million different kinds of online classes and workshops. And people don't have that same amount of disposable income. And because they've been kind of around the block now with this, they're becoming more discerning. Discernment is part of new paradigm. People are becoming more discerning about how they use their income, their salaries, and at the same time, they have less room for spending. There's less money in their pocketbooks because of inflation. So there's more caution there. And couple that with the fact that a lot of fear is still being pumped into society about the future and what's going on. There's constant war and there's just so much fear. And since there's war happening, there's always sort of lack and limitation during times of war. And then that usually cyclically follows a period of recovery. But people don't think about the recovery. They're in the fear right now because most humans are not working on healing the traumas associated with fear and clearing the fear, which, by the way, that's what I teach and how I help people, part of how I help people. But this is what's going on. So what that does for the average entrepreneur, solopreneur, visionary light leader who used to just a few years ago be really prosperous, it makes you sort of think, am I doing something wrong? What happened? You start feeling and thinking that you're making mistakes. You start doubting yourself. You start wondering, am I really in the right business? Am I doing the right work I'm meant to? And of course, this is part of the shifting as well, because in the future, the new paradigm, you're only supposed to be doing work. You're really supposed to be doing work that you truly love and are meant for. Your dharmic work is what you'll be evolving into. Your calling, your passion, your mission, your joy. Now, when you're aligned with that, you don't have any question. I've talked about this myself. There's no question in your mind. Am I going to prosper? Am I going to do well? Because you're doing the work you're meant to do. And that's all there is to it, right? But this window where people are not doing as well and it's making them question is giving them opportunity. Am I really aligned with my right mission and purpose? Am I really aligned with the work I'm truly meant to do? Am I convicted? Am I in my conviction that what I'm doing here is what I'm meant to do here? So this is part of the evolutionary shift that's designed to assist light leaders and light warriors. Sometimes we could say, I'm not as big a fan of that wording, but visionaries, entrepreneurs, and solopreneurs. It is meant to more directly align us with what we're really here to do. If you're one of those people going through that phase where you're wondering, why has it gotten so hard when it was so easy before? It's because it wants to align you. So I want to offer you solution, but I want you to understand you're not doing anything wrong. You're not making a mistake. It's because society is shifting and evolving, and there's always higher reason and purpose for these things. Because the bigger purpose, this is me as a visionary, I can see it, is to help you really anchor into what your true mission, purpose, joy is. And in so doing, your conviction strengthens and you say, you know what, this is what I'm meant to do. And, I'm going to ride the waves because that's what evolution is. We're riding waves, knowing that, there's peaks and valleys, there's highs and lows. I'm trying to steer the ship and I'm letting the divine steer me as the captain of this ship. We're co-captains in a way, but the divine is your compass. Your compass, your true north, is your alignment with your source that is guiding, leading, directing you, your own divine team. And you're the captain of the ship, which is in a sense like your business, your service, your mission. And you know that these waters right now are turbulent for a reason, to help humanity find its way. Because without that turbulence at times, people would just be making gadgets and widgets and putting more plastic in the water. And their plastic would be selling for $100, even though it's not even worth 33 cents, right? So the visionary higher perspective of what's going on right now is that humanity is being lovingly steered and guided to start finding the value and the worth, not only in how they represent and what they offer, but also in what they pay for, what they put their time and energy into, what they share, what they give, what they receive, what they exchange, right? To see a new value in it, a new value system. And for those of us who are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, light leaders, professionals offering, just know that if you are rightly aligned with what you're truly meant to bring forward, that nothing's going to turn your ship over. It's what you're meant to do. And put your anchor. I swear to God, this is being taught through me. I did not have these words beforehand. Put your anchor into the knowing that you are rightly aligned with your true north and your true mission. Now, if you're not, that's okay. That's the purpose of these turbulent waters. That's when you get to reflect and start asking, what is my true joy and passion? What is it within me that I have to bring forward? What is my passion that I can start cultivating more now, since perhaps money is more challenging? It's more about developing and cultivating that worth, that value, that passion, that service, that contribution, your core genius, your core brilliance that you're here to bring forward, and further developing your connection with source that is your provider. That really is. It's not like an external source. It is within you. It is around you. You are part of it. It is infinite. And through your alignment with that source and knowing that you are here for a reason and that that's your focus, that's your true north. And from that, yes, you're going to have to learn certain skills. You're going to have to learn how to you're going to have to learn certain talents. You're going to have to develop and cultivate certain virtues and qualities, ways of being. Of course, right? I've been in business for over 20 years. I would not be able to stay in business if I hadn't developed certain virtues, values, core values and virtues, integrity, etc., along that journey to allow me to sustain a business, right? So all of us have these abilities within us, and some things we're going to build and learn and grow. But that is the purpose of this current climate. All of the things that are affecting the collective are designed for different reasons. This is not the only reason for this current climate, but as it relates to the business entrepreneur, solopreneur, evolving human who is out there doing right work in the world, or who's wanting to do right work and align with your calling, that is what this is related to, or that is part of it anyway. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that makes sense. It's not about you feeling bad. It's not about you thinking you're doing something wrong. You're not. It's not that you're not marketing well enough. Your problem's not a marketing problem. Your problem's not a business problem. It's a alignment problem. It's a challenge and an opportunity. And that is really where the solution is. Solution is in cultivating the conviction within you that you are rightly aligned with what you're here for. And there's nothing else in the world, more or less. Like, if I wanted to slightly alter what I was doing, I could make my whole business about animal communication and telepathy. I could go down that road, energy healing for animals. Like, I could slightly alter a lot of the ways that I'm offering my services. But overall, this is what I'm meant to do. And so in that conviction and in that knowing, there's just an unwavering knowing that is what I'm here for. And no matter what the economic climate is, like, I'm doing what I'm meant to do, and I'm here to help and serve in the way that I'm meant to help and serve. And there are people out there who need, want, and value what I'm offering. And those people are divinely aligned with me at this point in time. And that's what's going to be cultivating, right? You have to start adopting this because the climate is changing. And you're not doing anything wrong. You're just being asked to hone in on your true north and to strengthen your own conviction and to more fully come into alignment with your source. So I hope that's helpful, because this is part of the shifting evolutionary change on Earth that is happening. And this is part of how we navigate and align, not just with right knowing. Right mindset is a piece of that, but definitely not the whole thing, but with right energetic, wholly and completely. I hope this makes sense to you. I hope this has been helpful for you. I'm going to sign off for now. Have happy steering of your ship. And I'm sending you so much love and wishing you your most benevolent best. Okay, farewell for now. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening today. If you loved the show and if you benefited in any way, if it helped you to up-level or expand your consciousness, if you gained any new insights or ideas, if it made you think or become more aware, or if there were some strategies or intuition that you may have benefited from in any way, would you please do me two easy and simple favors? First, if you would be willing to leave a review, it would mean the world to me. I'd be so grateful. And second, if you're willing to share this show with anyone else who would benefit, you can either post it on your social media or just email it to someone and share it with another person or any other people. It would be so awesome. This kind of thing is so helpful in expanding consciousness on the planet and helping others to benefit from this kind of teaching, which just simply isn't generally readily available in the mainstream. So sharing it really helps others benefit and helps our planet evolve and awaken. Plus, expressing gratitude and generosity in this way will also expand your capacity to give and receive even more. Either way, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for participating and for sharing, and overall, just for being the magnificent, the spectacular, the brilliant, the fabulous, the wonderful you that you truly are, and for allowing yourself to be the very best version of you today and every day. All my love and gratitude to you.